Good afternoon, math fans. I am going to show you how you can use a multiplication table to find equivalent fractions. That's right, you're stuck trying to learn your multiplication fast. They're not quite coming as fast as you need them to, and that's frustrating you in your effort to find equivalent fractions. Don't let that frustrate you. You can use a multiplication table until you're ready to do it on your own. You can use this multiplication table to help you find equivalent fractions. Let's take a look at our first column here. Okay, the 1 through 12 down there. And let's pretend that this 1 is we'll pretend that the 1 is the numerator and the 2 is the denominator. I'll denote that by putting a fraction bar right here to show 1/2. All right? Now, if that's 1/2, let's take a look then to the right of that, to this row and the row just beneath it. And you will see that each one of those fractions that's now created, in other words, the 4 over the 8, is equivalent to 1/2. 5 over 10, that's 5/10, equivalent to 1/2. You recognize this one, I'm sure. 2/4, equivalent to 1/2. 3/6, equivalent to 1/2. Each one of those is now equivalent to 1/2. Isn't that cool? If you look again at this first column, you'll see many fractions that are familiar to you, many benchmark fractions. For example, 2/3 is here. 3/4 is here. And you can see that we also have in the 3 row and the 4 row, we have fractions that are equivalent to 3/4. Let's pretend 3/4 is the fraction for which we are trying to find equivalence. I can take a look down here, and if I have 12 as my numerator, then 16 will be the denominator, and that fraction will be equivalent to 3/4. 9/12, many of you know this one already from memorization. 9/12 is equivalent to 3/4. 6/8 is equivalent to 3/4. Any one of these down here, any one of these fractions that we've just created by taking a look at the 3 row and the 4 row will be equivalent to 3/4. Let's say that we want to take a look at, again, 3. We'll focus on the 3 as our numerator. 3 is our numerator. But let's come down to 5. Let's skip 4. 3/5 is the fraction we're going to take a look at. 3/5. Just to help visualize this, I'll go ahead and put a bar right here. 3/5 is the fraction we're taking a look at, 3/5. And we're going to focus on the 3 row and the 5 row, and we're going to find some equivalent fractions. What's the first equivalent fraction to 3/5? Well, if you skip 3/5 here, it would be 6/10. 6/10 would be equivalent. Let me undo that so that shows up a little bit better. 6/10 would be equivalent to 3/5. 9/15 would be equivalent to 3/5. All the way down to 36/60 equivalent to 3/5. But sometimes you might have a fraction that's kind of an oddball. Let's say, for example, that you're trying to find an equivalent fraction for 6/20 seconds. Well, that's a pretty unusual fraction. What would that look like in this method? Well, there's the 6. Actually, I don't see it. I'm looking down this column and I don't see a 22, so I can't make an equivalent fraction using that column. How about this column? Here we go. Here's a 6. Here's a 22. All right, so that's in row 3. This is in row 11. So those are the 2 rows I'm going to focus on now, row 3 and row 11. And anywhere in here I pick a numerator, I can pick a corresponding denominator from my denominator row, and there. I should be able to show you that 15 55ths, wow, what a crazy fraction that is. 15 55ths is equivalent to 6/11. I'm sorry, 6/22. So by using a top row as a numerator, by using a row beneath it as a denominator, I hope you can see how you can use the multiplication table to help you find equivalent fractions. Good luck with that.